Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. We begin with sad news out of Vancouver, British Columbia. Just one day after Red Dress Day, it's a tragic end to a family's desperate search. The body of Chelsea Poorman has been found outside of a vacant home. The 24-year-old Cree woman was last seen leaving a friend's apartment on September 6th, 2020. Her family has been relentlessly searching for her ever since. Vancouver police say they do not consider her death suspicious, and investigators believe she likely died on the property the night she disappeared or shortly after. Police say she was discovered by contractors on April 22nd of this year. And our condolences to her family and friends. MMIWG advocates in Calgary are upset that some of the dresses they hung up to bring awareness to Red Dress Day were taken down by road maintenance contractors. Tamara Pimentel has more.
It took countless hours to set up. By Red Dress Day, Calgary was spotted with red. But the night before, a highway maintenance company called CarMax had taken some of the dresses down. Bear Clan Patrol representative Yvonne Henderson says CarMax employees clashed with organizers.
It shows that our people still don't matter. It shows that the memory of our men and women don't matter.
She says workers called the memorials illegal, despite signs from the city, and they threw out the dresses that were taken down.
They don't see the memory that's attached with these. They don't see the humanity behind them. They don't see the spirit, the power, and the place that goes with every shirt, with every dress, with every prayer ribbon.
CarMax area manager Philip Mendive attended the Red Dress Day event on Thursday. He says he offered an in-person apology to families of missing and murdered Indigenous people. He says the crews were operating within their contract and says an investigation has been launched.
We do need to educate our co-workers and employees more on this topic, as well as that line between the contract and items such as this.
Henderson says more awareness needs to be raised about what these red dresses stand for.
We need non-Indigenous people to step forward. We need them to have actions that match their false and empty words. It makes me want to hang up red everywhere. It makes me want to have dresses every day of the year. It makes me want to put up more.
Tamara Pimentel, APTN National News, Calgary.
To Toronto now, where many gathered at an urban park to honor the day. The vigil brought people together throughout the day for remembrance. But as Annette Francis reports, missing and murdered Indigenous women wasn't the only issue on people's minds.
Smudging, prayers, and drumming kicked off the Red Dress Day event at Allen Gardens in downtown Toronto. It was a time to remember missing or murdered, a time to show support, to educate, and to socialize.
It's important because we need the healing, and with the recent discoveries of the graves and all that, we're still trying to find our people, and we're trying to find our way back to the culture and the medicine. So, and especially with the pandemic and ceremony's been really shut down for the last couple of years during that time. So it's really important the community gets back together for that healing and just that sense of belonging together.
People came and went during the day-long event. Sometimes over 100 people were present. It was put together by the Toronto-based organization, the Two-Spirited People of First Nations.
Many of our families and relations are dealing with intergenerational trauma. We still have people coming in and out of foster care who are becoming a generation of traumatized individuals. This issue, it goes beyond those who are just missing or have been murdered. It is those who are continuing to be hurt today by the very systems that swear to protect them.
Lorraine Waters is pleased with the support here, but she's also disappointed. Two-spirited people are mentioned frequently in the missing and murdered women women and girls' final reports calls for justice. But Waters says the federal government's response has been lacking.
Where is the federal's way of giving back in all the many reasons that they took lives from us? From residential school, from day school, from the murdered and missing, from not having systems in place, our two-spirited community here, much higher rate of violence. Where are the changes in the laws? They're slow. They're working on them.
Joey Twins was also present. She's an activist who in the past supported the 1492 land back organizers in their occupation of a proposed housing development near Caledonia, Ontario 2 years ago.
I call it economic genocide. This is what we're fighting, and because of what I believe in, I personalize this. And it's not just women and girls, it's men, boys, trans. It doesn't matter as long, sometimes I don't want to be Indigenous because I'm afraid to get murdered, but I'm not afraid of anybody. I have no fear.
Annette Francis, APTN National News, Toronto.
In northern British Columbia, families and supporters rallied along the Highway of Tears to raise awareness. APTN's Lee Wilson has that story.
A red dress hangs outside the Terrace RCMP detachment to commemorate murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls. Brigida Bartlett helped organize the event as part of National Red Dress Day. She is co-founder of Tears to Hope Society, which provides support to MMIWG families. Last weekend, they started hanging red dresses at different locations, each containing a positive message.
We hung the first dress up, a dress with a sign saying a little bit about Red Dress Day, and then there's 9 different signs, and they each have a write-up on the back about who she is. And I think it's like she's hope, she's love, she's compassion, she's medicine, she's resilient, she's love.
Advocates and families drummed and sang at the rally near downtown Terrace. Nicole Halbauer, a guest speaker from the Tsimshian Nation, says some of the girls who have gone missing were her friends.
I know some of the women that were going to walk past their posters or we run past, they were my friends, they were my age, they were my peers. And it is only by the grace of God that I am here to speak to you today and not a poster that you're going to walk by, because the violence experienced by women, Indigenous women, and girls and two-spirit and boys and men in this country is appalling, it's dangerous, it's real, and it's still here.
A sea of red then walked along Highway 16, also known as the Highway of Tears, notorious for the high numbers of murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls along the route between Prince George and Prince Rupert since the 1970s. Bartlett believes the Red Dress Day event was a success. She says people walking together have a chance to learn about one another.
But I think it's great because, again, it gives the person who has no idea, or maybe somebody happened to walk by and they're wondering what's going on. And when you walk, I don't know about you, but when you walk, people tend to talk together, and it kind of opens up that little bit of communication.
Lee Wilson, APTN National News, Kitsim-Kalem.
South of the Medicine Line, National Missing or Murdered Indigenous Persons Day was also recognized. The U.S. Departments of the Interior and Justice announced a new commission that will implement the federal Not Invisible Act to address what it calls a crisis. The commission is made up of police, tribal leaders, and family members of missing and murdered Indigenous people. Tribal leaders say international borders with Canada and Mexico are barriers in solving missing and murdered cases, which don't stop at the border. They hope the new commission will form a partnership with the Government of Canada to solve more cases. Now to the Northwest Territories. The Clicho man from Betchico has more questions than answers after he says a case of mistaken identity may have led to his arrest. And as our reporter Charlotte Moore Jacobs explains, his false arrest may be just one of many in the north.
Frankie Taloka didn't anticipate being arrested after showing vehicle registration at a routine check stop. But that's exactly what happened on April 6th. RCMP showed up at his home minutes after. He was on call as a paramedic at the time
RCMP came towards me and he said, you have a letter here for your warrant arrest. I told him, for what? What I did? He said, artery threat against one of the workers at the Explore Hotel and one of the security. So RCMP said, I can't arrest you right now because I know you're working right now as an ambulance. So can you come to the station tomorrow for turn yourself in? I told him I'll do that.
He was shocked and recalled no such incident. But the next morning, before heading to the RCMP detachment, he went to the Cleanshow Friendship Center to consult with staff experienced in criminal justice matters.
A lot of it went through my head, so I don't know who to turn to. So Friendship Center is there to help people in communities.
And while doing so, RCMP arrested him.
That's all. They just put me in cell. I had to take some of my clothes off and lay in the concrete with a blanket on me. I've never been in a holding cell, not the best place to stay.
Taloka says he was released 4 hours later. He called the Crown's office and was ordered to appear in court on April 12th. Court documents viewed by APTN show Taloka was charged with uttering threats to cause death related to the employee at the Explorer Hotel in Yellowknife on April 19th, 2021. But according to Taloka, RCMP have the wrong person. Taloka and his employer confirmed he was on shift driving an ambulance at the time of the alleged incident.
I want to know who did this against me and why. I slept on the concrete for 4 hours and I wanted answers there, and I was arrested in public for no reason at all.
Days before the scheduled court date, charges were dropped. Stephen Cooper, a lawyer involved in an ongoing class action alleging RCMP discrimination in the North, says Taloka's matter is consistent with long-standing tensions between police and Indigenous people.
But generally speaking, you investigate first, and if there are grounds, then you charge. People just get charged. It's just easier. Just charge them and move on, and then maybe investigate or drop the file into the prosecutor's hands. And then the prosecutor, the overworked, overburdened prosecutors, come out on circuit, particularly outside of the major centers like Yellowknife, Hay River Smith, and Inuvik. The prosecutors come in with 100 files, and they're sorting through to see what investigation, if any, was done, and that's when they're dropping the charges.
The Justice Department declined APTN's request for an interview on the matter of false arrest, and instead gave this statement. If an individual believes that their fundamental rights have been violated, they may wish to consult a lawyer. Taloka says it's not so simple, and those in similar position to his own often face barriers to acquiring and affording legal supports.
RCMP should do more like a improvement to us Aboriginal people. I see people getting arrested here and there without treating fairly.
Charlotte Mort-Jacobs, APTN National News, Yellowknife.
The Manitoba Métis Federation has filed its statement of defense in a lawsuit launched by the Métis National Council. Details on that after the break. Welcome back. The Governor General was busy awarding the Order of Canada to a number of new honorees at Rideau Hall Friday morning. Among the recipients are an Indigenous scholar whose research focuses on decolonizing academia, and a lawyer who has made significant contributions to Indigenous law. APTN's Fraser Needham has more.
It was Governor General Mary Simon's first Order of Canada ceremony.
And you're also working towards reconciliation, which is not one project or act, nor does it have an end date. It's including understanding and respect.
Marie Baptiste is a member of the Mi'kmaq Nation and a highly respected professor and researcher. Baptiste has done significant work in recovery and renewal of Indigenous languages and decolonization of education. She's also the mother of Nova Scotia Liberal MP Heini Baptiste, and says receiving the award from Simon has special significance.
but to come in and to have this, and to have Her Excellency Mary Simon to give this award to me, and even whisper to me that we have met before because we both worked together on the Royal Commission on Aboriginal Peoples.
James O'Reilly has been fighting on behalf of Indigenous rights in the judicial system for most of his lengthy legal career. He says as Indigenous rights have continued to evolve in the court system, it has created a whole new series of conflicts.
When I look back on this, sometimes I say, you know, there have been many defeats in the Canadian courts of the rights of Aboriginal peoples, but there have been some magnificent victories, and that's what has propelled the continuation of the confrontation, not only politically but in the courts.
Batiste says she sees awards like the Order of Canada as one way of renewing the treaty relationship.
You know, Aboriginal treaty rights comes through and with the British Empire, and therefore, you know, to have, you know, someone to be recognized in this is really to renew our relationships. I think that's what the treaty is about, is our relationships with the Crown and how they are constantly renewed.
For his part, O'Reilly says he did have some hesitation in accepting the award.
It's ironical here because I hesitated since I've been fighting the federal government all my life. Accepting the Order of Canada is a little strange, but I said, well, maybe after having consulted with one of the Grand Chiefs of the Crees, he said, well, maybe the enemy's recognizing that we put up a good fight.
A total of 25 recipients received the Order of Canada today. It's the first in-person ceremony since the pandemic began almost 2 years ago. Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.
Like James's comments there, congrats to all the recipients. The Manitoba Métis Federation recently filed a statement of defense against allegations contained in a statement of claim brought by the Métis National Council earlier this year. The MMF says the allegations are baseless and meant to attack and discredit the MMF, the MNC's former staff, and MMF President David Chartrand personally.
The motion is carried.
MNC is seeking millions of dollars. The suit alleges Chartrand, former MNC President Clement Chartier, and others intentionally caused severe financial harm and other injury to MNC, while also benefiting themselves and others upon their departures. In a statement, Chartrand said, quote, "The MNC action is nothing more than a publicity stunt, weaponizing the courts for political theater, and we expect to see this action dismissed." None of the allegations have been tested in court, and no court date has been set. The MMF is currently in the midst of an election campaign. Time now for one more quick break. Still to come, a cat rescue you don't want to miss. Stick around. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. And our old friend Greg Scriber captured this amazing shot just last night along the shoreline of Petrie Island, located in Ottawa. If you happen to take some amazing photos this weekend, be sure to send them to us by email to share@aptn.ca, and we might just share your pictures next week as our next photo of the day. Now let's take a look at that Saturday weather forecast. Starting on the East Coast, 11 in Halifax, 6 for Charlottetown, +1 in Kuujjuaq, 2 above in Nain. Sun's out in 13 in Montreal and Val-d'Or. 19 above and sunny skies in Sault Ste. Marie, 17 and sunny in North Bay, sunny and 14 for Thunder Bay, showers and 18 in Sioux Lookout, 17 with rain for God's Lake, 21 in rain in Norway House. Rain and 23 for Winnipeg and Dauphin. 16 with showers in Regina, cloudy and 18 in Saskatoon. Sunny and 15 in Meadow Lake, 14 with showers in La Ronge. In northern Alberta, snow and 3 for high level, chance of snow and 6 in Peace River. 15 in Edmonton, showers and 16 for Lethbridge. 11 with showers in Vancouver, 16 and rain in Kamloops. 11 and cloudy in Prince George. Rain and 10 for Smithers. 9 in Old Crow. Rain and 10 for Whitehorse. Plus 2 in Yellowknife. Snow and 6 above for Norman Wells. Minus 4 in Sax Harbor. Snow and 3 for Pawlatuck. 0 with snow for Chesterfield. Snow and minus 6 in Cambridge Bay. 9 below with snow in Resolute. Minus 3 in snow in Joe Haven. To Manitoba now, where Peguis First Nation members continue to grapple with the stress of flooding and evacuations. But one story has emerged that is the cat's meow. A crew in a Sherp, that's a vehicle that's part boat, part ATV, saw a cat on top of a hydro pole trying to escape the freezing floodwaters. A rescuer shimmied up the pole to rescue the unhappy feline. James Favel of the First Nations Community Response Corporation captured the video. He said there were lots of happy tears flowing when the cat was returned to the little girl who owns it. Well, tonight on Investigates, we meet a Métis mother and her son in Vancouver's downtown east side. Tim Gray is trying to enter detox with his mother and Anne-Marie's help. Brittany Guillaume met with the family to ask them about their struggles and find out what Tim's story can tell us about the heart of Canada's drug crisis. And Brittany joins us now. Brittany, thanks for being with us. What can we expect to see in Hope in the downtown east side?
Yeah, so in this episode, we travel to the downtown east side of Vancouver, where we meet with a Métis mother who lost a child last year to a toxic mix of drugs. And so now she's desperately trying to get her other son to get the help that he needs to enter recovery. So we follow them for several weeks while they navigated through the complicated system to access recovery services.
Well, what does the data say about this ongoing drug crisis?
So the British Columbia Coroner Service declared the drug crisis a public health emergency in 2016. And since then, nearly 10,000 people have died in the province due to toxic drugs. From 2020 to 2021, there was a 26% increase in the number of deaths, totaling 6 a day. So year after year, we're seeing a significant increase in deaths.
Crazy, sad statistics there. Brittany, what can be done to help save lives?
Yeah, so we spoke with the British Columbia Chief Coroner, local advocates, and families who all say that there needs to be better access to safe supplies, testing sites, evidence-based research, and lastly, that there needs to be the decriminalization for substance users.
Well, Brittany, looking forward to the show tonight. Appreciate you taking some time for us to talk about it.
Thanks for having me on.
And you can catch that episode of APTN Investigates in less than 2 minutes' time right here. That is all the time we have for your APTN National News for this Friday. For news anytime or more on anything you saw here, visit our website, aptnnews.ca. I'm Dennis Ward. Thanks for being with us. Stick around. APTN Investigates is next. Have a great night.